Hi, I'm Tom Birkeland, author of An Introduction to the Policy Process and professor of public policy at North Carolina State University. I hope you enjoy the book, and I hope you find these videos useful. Chapter 9 is about policy design and policy tools. This is a pretty meaty chapter, and you might want to read this a little more slowly and carefully than you do some of the other chapters, because there's a lot of detail here. And this overview will barely scratch the surface of what I do in this chapter. But what I wanted to convey in this chapter is the idea that policy design is based on a set of either implicit or explicit goals, that there's a point to having a policy. And so when people are designing policies and people are putting together policies, they have goals in mind and they want to solve problems, right? So the key elements of policy design include things like, what are the goals of the policy? What's the causal model? What's the cause of the problem in the world, and how is this policy going to solve it? What are the policy tools you're going to use to solve that problem? Who are the targets of the policy? To whom does the policy apply? And how will the policy be implemented? Will we rely on people to just follow the rules, or there'll be some sanctions or even greater inducements for people to follow the policy? So those are some of the things you have to consider when you're designing a policy to solve a problem. One of the goals of public policies I discuss in this chapter is the goal of efficiency, and I talk about the definition of efficiency, and I talk also about goal conflict and ambiguity, and why that's so important in the policy process. I also illustrate the problem of goal conflict and ambiguity and conflicting goals of security and liberty with the case study of the USA PATRIOT Act and airport screening in the United States. What's particularly interesting about the PATRIOT Act is that, and airport screening, is that none of these are brand new ideas. So the one thing that I think is important to realize is that there are very few brand new ideas in public policy. Oftentimes they're just old ideas that have been repackaged and repurposed and fine-tuned for current circumstances and current situations. I then turn to a discussion of different kinds of policy tools and different ways of categorizing policy tools. For example, the decision to tax something might be a policy tool versus the decision to spend money on something. An example of a policy tool is giving someone a tax deduction to give money to charity. Why do we use tax deductions as an incentive to do that? Why not some other tool? And so there are different ways to categorize policy tools, and you'll learn about them in Chapter 9. The reason this leads to implementation is that the choice of a policy tool has a great deal to do with what method you will use to implement the policy, and we'll get into more of that in Chapter 10. Thanks for watching this video. As always, I really enjoy hearing from students and teachers about the book and about public policy. Feel free to reach out to me at tom@tombirkeland.com or visit my website, tombirkeland.com. Thanks again for watching.